Welcome back to coverage of Eternal Weekend North America. What a pleasure it is to have your company for our semi-finals of the Legacy Champs. My name is Riley Knight, joined by Noah Walker. And Noah, we're going to jump into a rematch here. We earlier today saw Jay Wojciechowski going up against his opponent on Boros painter Sean Sabier. And these two are going at it once again, head to head in our semi-final area. Before that, let's set the scene here before we get underway with our semi-finals. Thanks go out to our sponsors for the weekend, Card Titan, cardtitan.com. Right now, you can get 10% off any order placed at cardtitan.com. Use code EternalWeekend2023, and they will knock 10% off your order. Same goes for GameGenic. Eternal Weekend 2023, the coupon code there, available for your use this weekend. 10% off your order of gaming supplies over at GameGenic. Appreciate the support of both these fine companies, making sure that this broadcast is possible for you all to enjoy. So big shout out, Card Titan, GameGenic. Let's have a look at the bracket now. Let's have a look at our bracket for the Legacy Championships here. Last round we saw Castellin take out Brian Cook 2-1. The Elves style Cradle deck taking out the Epic Storm. And our other quarterfinal, Jay Wojciechowski running roughshod over Wyatt Gibson there on Cephalid Breakfast. On the back tables, TK Strachan and Sean Sabier getting up. And those are the players we'll be checking in with this round. Jay, Sean, TK, and Cass. Those are our semi-finalists. But let's meet our players as we head into semi-final number one. We've already talked about Jay a little bit. The reigning Legacy champion as well, and he wasn't afraid to show it. He had his Ponder that he won last year, I should say. That was proudly displayed in his Delver deck. And it's interesting to see, Noah, we've talked about the diversity present in Legacy at the moment. He says he's played against unique decks in every single round of the Swiss.
I mean, that if nothing else goes to show, that goes to show he's made it so deep in this tournament, played against a different every single round. Legacy is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could go 0-2 drop and also make the same claim, but it's a lot more impressive when Jay made it as far as he did here. His opponent, Sean Sabier, this is the person who's standing in the way of him and running back the title here. Sean Sabier is playing Legacy, said it's his favorite deck since he started playing the format, and seems to be doing pretty well with it so far. I haven't seen a huge amount of painter in recent times, so I'm interested to see the way that the deck has sort of chopped and changed and evolved with some new card choices here. And Sean is going to showcase this deck for us and what it can do up against the Grixis Delver Menace.
Good luck.
Noah, your opinion on this matchup heading into it, what are we going to see pre-board? What are we going to see post-board? Who's favoured? Some key cards to watch out with. Break it down for us.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'd say that Painter is generally just very favored against Delver decks. Especially, when you splash white in your deck for 4 copies of Swords to Plowshares. I would expect to see maybe either like a Goblin Engineer or a Goblin Welder taking over the game, just by gaining Sean a good amount of value, just being hard to interact with. Just a counterfeit way to have the combo be as redundant as possible. As well as just playing main deck copies of Pyroblast and Elemental Blast against a blue deck. Like you just have to think that the deck that can afford to do that is going to be favored. But don't count Delver out. I know the first time that Sean and Jay played, Sean actually won 2-0. But that's a good part about these Delver decks. They always have some game in every sort of matchup. You have your stifles that can possibly stop the combo or delay the combo for a turn. Lightning Bolt, fantastic interaction. A lot of game 1 play just to Murktide a region. Other than the 4 blast effects, there's not a really good way for Sean to answer a Murktide region from Jay. So Jay's going to really need to see a little bit more aggression. Just starting off with the turn 1 Lightning Bolt, it's good, it's decent. The Delver deck here is definitely under time pressure far more than the Painter deck. So Jay needs to get some threats going before Sean is able to just amass too much value and take over the game.
And that's the key behind all the Delver style decks, is that you need threats plus disruption. You can't just have one of those elements. You've got to have both if you want to win. And Jay, I think, is digging right now for a threat. Doesn't find one, however, so it's back over to Sean. Goblin Welder, one of the most, if not the most important card in this list. Sean identified it as one of the cards that has done a huge amount of work for him this weekend. And here is a second copy of it. Goblin Welder, one of those old cards that actually had less rules text on it before the pesky Oracle nerds came in and made all the rules text make sense. Choose target artifact a player controls and target artifact in that player's graveyard. If both targets are still legal as this ability resolves, that player simultaneously sacrifices the artifact and returns the artifact card to the battlefield. The Urza's Legacy version pre-Oracle text is actually much easier to understand, which it just reads, exchange target artifact a player controls for target artifact in that card in that player's graveyard. So you essentially reanimate an artifact from your bin, the cost to do that is sacrificing an artifact with your control. And so what is Sean hoping to firstly sacrifice and secondly bring back?
It's basically just a way to make sure that he can assemble his combo effectively. So he has a lot of random artifacts in the deck, as you see this Great Furnace in play, Urza Saga having the ability to create a bunch of artifacts, and then the combo between Painter Servant and Grindstone it just basically wins you the game, but it is kind of easy to disrupt. You can just have a lightning bolt and stop the combo from happening. So ideally for Sean, he could activate Grindstone, have the Painter Servant in play as well as the Goblin Welder, and then if Jay decides to use lightning bolt on the Painter Servant, he could sacrifice something like the Great Furnace, something like a Mox Opal, something like a token from Urza Saga to bring the Painter Servant back into play and keep his combo going.
Because immediately when I look at Goblin Welder, I think, okay, we're bringing back Inkwell Leviathan, something like that, something huge. But here, it's just about having, as you say, redundancy to bring back those pretty cheap combo pieces that you need in order to win the game. The Painted Servant, the Grindstone. We've already got the Grindstone out here, so now Sean is just looking for the Servant, which is that all you need to win with Painter? It's just that 2-card combo, right?
Yeah, you generally name blue. With your Painter Servant, you use Grindstone targeting your opponent. Since both the cards share a color, it will mill out their entire deck, and then you pass the turn to them, and they fail to draw because there's no cards left in their deck.
It's a classic combo. It's been around for a long, long time, about a decade, or probably even longer than that in Legacy. And Sean's going to mill himself here.
Heads up play here from Sean.
Check this out.
That way, being able to fill up his graveyard, get a little bit more value out of this Goblin Welder. Really, really tight stuff from Sean.
Lightning Bolt targeting the Goblin Welder, and in response, we're going to see Red Elemental Blast on the Murktide Regent. Looks like Jay has a response to this, however. We know, or we can at least suspect, that he has a disruption-heavy hand, just because he hasn't been able to play too much in the way of interaction. So the stack, as it is now, from bottom to top, Lightning Bolt, Red Elemental Blast, Brainstorm. Brainstorm resolves, Red Elemental Blast resolves, Lightning Bolt resolves, and now the Grindstone. Grindstone resolves. Alright.
I'll go to my turn.
So a complicated flurry of spells there, but at the end of the day, we are left with Sean with a Grindstone, and that's a Lotus Petal.
Yep, Grindstone Lotus Petal.
And here's a special one.
That card is so powerful.
Yeah, Chaos Defiler? No, sorry, Fourth Eorlingus. Sorry.
You got it,
my
yeah.
universe is beyond mixed up. Fourth Eorlingus here is going to make 2 knights, and it'll be King Sean as well as he gets in with these Tramply 2/2s, Tramply Hasty 2/2s.
Looks like we're just going to see Petty Theft take off one of these 2/2s, kind of make it a little bit less scary for Jay to deal with. But luckily for Jay, he does have a second copy of Murktide in his hand, so unless Sean has another answer, he'll be able to steal back the Monarch.
So 2?
Pretty soon.
Sean will draw a card.
I go 14. Yeah. Can I get the Monarch?
There we go, and the Monarchy here.
But yeah, bringing up Chaos Defiler, that is, one of the ways that that Sean can kind of use the Goblin Welder as a way to cheat in artifacts. That's one of the only artifacts in his deck that is kind of more expensive than he could realistically cast. So that's pretty pretty cool.
Legacy.
You got Monarch written down?
Yeah, 30. Yeah.
And then Phyrexian Dragon Engine as a one-off as well, a 3-drop that can be unearthed as well for 5 mana. Isn't playing Mishra,
I mean, I
playing
can
by
give
Gix,
mine if you want.
unfortunately.
Dang, you could have seen some
I
cool
have
stuff
to
going
yeah,
on.
it's not an
Yeah, it
official
didn't go the
watch.
full, didn't go the
just
whole
a
hog, just the
standard one or
partial
just
hog.
regular?
It's
here
a
from
RK
Sean.
post.
That's fine.
But yeah, I think that's just a concession to the fact that so many of the cards in this painter's deck are card disadvantageous, right? It's like you play these Lotus Petals, you play like even Painter's Servant, Grindstone, like all these cards are kind of mopey by themselves. So the Phyrexian Dragon Engine is just kind of like a way to refill after you've emptied your hand of like these cheap artifacts and stuff. So
As is Forth Yorlingus as well, as we see here. Draws a card thanks to the Monarch. Back over to Jay now, who is going to open. Has found a Delver, but it's going to kick things off with a Ponder here.
I'll shovel those.
Okay.
Back they go, and it's going to be the big shovel.
yeah, I mean, makes sense. I saw a Forcible in there, which is something like that I would personally be really interested in keeping, just because of how good it is against the Painter deck. Like I said, so few of their cards are actually really important. Like a lot of their deck is just like kind of chaff. So the rest of the Ponder must have just not been very good, and Jay decided that he couldn't justify spending so many turns drawing cards that were not effective.
Right, finds Wasteland. There's that Murktide Regent you mentioned before, and the Delver, and the final card. Get a good look at it. Is that a Lorien Revealed, I think? Yes.
Lofty approves.
Yeah, kind of an interesting pickup here for the Lorien Revealed. It gives Jay a decision on whether or not he wants to actually use this Wasteland to take off Sean's Plateau. And honestly, I'm not sure, because Sean does have the white source when it comes to the Lotus Petal, but also kind of forcing Sean to use that is also pretty valuable. And like, eventually Jay will probably draw another land to use, so I kind of like using the Wastelands.
I think this is better. Obviously, casting the Lorien Revealed is something that we all dream of doing, but here in this situation, you're going to draw. You'll draw the land eventually, and even if you don't, it's not the end of the world if you don't cast that. Whereas, I think, as you say, forcing the use of the Lotus Petal for the potential Swords to Plowshares that's in Sean's hand, it just turns that into a 2-for-1, essentially. You know, you're trading really efficiently with your opponent, the Wasteland for the land, and then they're trading 2 cards to get rid of your 1. Obviously, Jay's not going to be happy to see his Swords to Plowshares, but at least it mitigates some of the feel bad of having his creature removed if Sean's spending 2 cards to do it.
Trigger.
So back over to Sean now, who has... sorry, back to Jay, who flips the Delver with a Stifle. How's Stifle here?
Well, it stops the combo momentarily, which
Like
is
for one
pretty
turn, right?
decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's even better than Stifle is the fact that he is gonna essentially have close to 3 lethal threats, or like they're not all lethal, but you need to remove more than just one of them, right? Jay can play this Brazen Borrower. Sean then needs to kill the Murktide Regent as well as one of the other creatures to even have a shot at surviving, and then he also picked up a Force of Will. So the Stifle existing as a blue card in Jay's hand is massive.
Yeah, things looking very good for the Delver player here. Sean needs a lot of stuff to go right to stay in and even win this, even get through this turn, right, without Jay winning.
Definitely. Fury is a good start to it. That's basically one of the best cards that you could ask for. But I think...
On your targets. I'll stifle.
Oh, Jay's just going to stifle the trigger. I like that.
Damage.
Oh no! Oh yeah. So
Still
the
goes the Great Red, yeah.
Fury
Yeah, it's 2 shattered.
divides up the damage between Stifle the Evoke trigger. No, not quite. But another Fury here for Sean.
Okay.
He's going to try again.
Dead.
That would have been enough to kill both of those creatures, right?
Yep.
8 damage. Yeah.
And which seems like exactly what Sean was hoping for.
So I'll
Yeah,
draw.
But
As
the
it is
Murktide's
now.
going to be lethal anyways.
And then
Unless Sean draws exactly a Fire Blast here. Oh, he's wow.
All right, found the swords, but that's not enough thanks to the Force of Will, and so Jay takes down game number 1. That's disappointing for Sean. He would have very much been hoping, because that would have been a very neat and tidy turn if Jay just F6 and had nothing. Double Fury to take down those two cards, and then you've got the Swords to Plowshares as a backup for something like the Brazen Borrower. Sean could have cleaned up there, but of course, we know Delver decks full of disruption, very difficult to play all the way through that sort of thing, and so Jay takes out game number 1 in style, and it's up to Sean now with his painter list to rally. come back in the sideboard, in their sideboarded games, and win 2 on the trots. Sideboard for him, 3 copies of Magus of the Moon, 3 copies of Surgical Extraction, a couple of Mind Break traps, 2 Thorn of Amethysts, and then a bunch of one-offs. Canoptek, Scarab, Swarm, Torpor of a Braid, Ether Swarm, Canonist, Pithing Needle. What do you like here?
A Braid's decent, just as a way to clean up some creatures. A little bit more of an efficient way at killing like stuff like Delver as opposed to something like Fury. Thorn of Amethyst also decent. I mean, I don't love it. It's not for this matchup as much as it is for like the combo decks, but it is okay here. And honestly, there's not that much that I love from the sideboard. As I was saying a little bit before, one of the draws to playing this Painter deck is the fact that you have access to Manic Pyroblast, access to Manic Red Elemental Blast, which is going to give you an edge up already in these Delver matchups. So for Sean, or sorry, for Jay to win game 1 against Sean's deck is so huge for him, you know, because when you look at the way that these Grixis Delver decks are constructed, they'll generally have a lot of good hosers for artifacts in their sideboard. You know, just be able to just really craft the game to play around their strategy how they would like it to. So I would guess that the sideboard that Jay has access to is greatly going to improve his deck for this matchup. And, you know, for Sean, his deck is already pretty generally decent in this matchup, so he's not going to add very much.
So what went wrong for Sean in that last game? Why was it that Jay was able to take it out, even with a slower start without a threat coming out the gates? Like, what was it that made the difference there?
I think it was just the fact that Jay ended up having a second copy of the Riptide, and then Sean didn't have a very clean answer to it. So that in combination with Jay being on the draw in the first game, I think was actually like kind of advantageous for the way that Sean's draw was playing out. Having that extra card kind of gave him enough value where him taking the slower actions that he was played well into his game plan. You know, a lot of the times you would expect these, like I've said countless times, these Delver decks really want to get low to the ground. They want to get under your opponent. They're so versatile and they have so much play to them that you can kind of play these slower game plans. You know, as we see Jay cutting 2 Delvers from his deck, he's kind of decided that it's not as important for him to be the aggressor in every single matchup as it is important for him to have these really potent threats like Murktide Regent, like Orcish Bowmasters, and just be able to play a kind of slower game plan, stop your opponent from doing whatever they're doing, and then eventually stick a threat. And that's exactly what we saw in the first game.
Well, I think, Jay, there you saw 2 copies of Hydro Blast, a bunch of interactive cards brought in, quite a number of them as well. Like, it was a pretty significant and heavy sideboarding that was undertaken by Jay. So I think he's happy to adopt a slightly different role, slightly less aggressive posture in this matchup. Wants to make sure that he stays on top of what his opponent's doing, make sure that he has something to say about what Sean is up to. It keeps his opponent honest, essentially, through disruption and interaction. Looks like Jay's going to go down to 6 here. Didn't like the look of that opener. Sean happy with his opening hand by the way things seem.
Yeah, Jay having access to Meltdown, Hydroblast, Null Rod, all incredibly effective cards in a matchup like this. So I would be surprised if Jay wasn't able to take down one of these 2 games. But like I said, the Painter deck, they kind of build their deck with Grixis Delver in mind. So
yeah, well, you have to, right? It's one of the best decks in Legacy, has been for a long time. So if you're not building a deck with respect to what can go wrong when you face off against a Delver-style deck, well, yeah, might be time to revisit your deck building strategy. Make sure you don't include too many basics as well. Otherwise, no, he'll come for you, man. He'll come for you.
That's facts. Riley knows me.
I know, dude. I know. Yeah, we were joking around with it, having some fun yesterday. Oh, put fewer days basics in your deck. There's no jokes. Noah doesn't understand the concept of humor when it comes to the basics in a legacy deck, man. He takes no prisoners. All right, we're going to kick things off here. A slower start for Jay. No turn 1 play. Holding on to that Honda that's here.
Please report to the pre-modern challenge.
With his underground team. Has he got a brainstorm?
He does have a brainstorm. I think that he's just decided to do nothing. Kind of take a little bit to evaluate the game, see exactly what he needs. He's got some disruption. Maybe he wants to use the Ponder as a shuffle effect on the brainstorm. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. you don't generally cast a Brainstorm turn 1 end step. You don't get a lot of value out of it that way. And here we are. We're going to see a classic Brainstorm into fetch land, shuffle away those 2 cards that aren't needed. There's a Saga ticks up. Sean plays a Great Furnace. And looks like we'll just make a construct on his side of things.
Yeah, I mean, as we see again, Jay kind of not doing very much in these early turns. Just like no play, turn 1, turn 2, Brainstorm, fetch land, not applying any sort of pressure to the board. So Sean just kind of feels like he can take as much time as he wants with his Urza Saga. Doesn't really feel like he's under any sort of clock. Can make a couple of constructs and not feel bad about it.
All right. Ooh, the mega cut here from Sean. That was the quintuple cut. Really getting after it.
Gotta be sure.
Attention,
Sunday,
Sunday,
10
10
a.m.
a.m. RCQ
He's
players.
going to open with
Your
a
prize
ponder.
pack has been updated.
Yeah, looks like we'll finally see that
and
ponder.
released.
I think Jay
The updated pairing
was
updated
trying to
prize
decide,
pack is visible on your pairings
you know,
board
do I need a threat? Do I
stage.
need more removal? Do I need like what do I need this game? I think that's why he just waited so long to play the ponder, which I don't mind when you have, you know, 2 copies of Meltdown, a copy of Null Rod, like these super heavy hitting cards that are really going to affect the game. It makes a little bit more sense to me to wait a little bit on your cantrips.
And that was a very quick shuffle there from Jay. I think he has a keen idea of what he's looking for here. We might see a second ponder fired off. Another Vulcan in hand. Yeah, there's a second ponder as well. So Jay's looking for something, and I think he's going to keep shuffling until he finds it. And there you go again. So this really clearly says to me that he has a specific idea of what he wants to do to keep this game moving forward in the direction that he thinks is going to benefit him. And he's looking for those key cards, the cards that he brought in, the Meltdowns, the Null Rods, the cards that act as silver bullets in this matchup, Noah. The way that Jay is playing here indicates that he's got a very specifically crafted game plan.
Yeah, I completely agree, Riley. It looks he looks so surprisingly unfazed to me as someone playing like the more aggressive deck of the 2 and having applied like no pressure to the board already, approaching Sean's 4th turn. So I think that he has a good idea of how he wants this to play out.
I think you're right in saying that. I think he's got a very specific game plan in mind. Second construct, we're going to see a 1-drop fetched out. A couple of different options here for Sean. Grindstone is obviously on the cards, as is something like a Soul Guide Lantern, which is the card that we see played here. Here's a Saga. You can even go and get a land to replace the Urza Saga, right? You can go and get your Great Ferns.
Yeah, totally. I'm just surprised.
No. Actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. It's not
Wait,
mana
why?
value. It's specifically mana cost. It has to be mana cost 0. Yeah, you can't actually go and get a 0. You can't get you cannot get an artifact with mana value 0 unless it has the cost 0.
That makes sense. Genius
Yeah.
mode. I'm just surprised to not see Jay use a lightning bolt on one of these constructs in response to the Urza Saga trigger before they were 4/4s. Just because now, unless he draws specifically one of these meltdowns, he's going to be under so much pressure. Like, yeah, he can use a Brazen Borrow on one, and then bolt the other one. But then he just took 4 damage for free, basically. Like, if his plan is now to use the lightning bolt, then he should have just used it last turn. And it looks like he might have made like a little bit of misstep, and it's deciding. I respect this play so much. Okay, here's one thing I want to say. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Like you can rectify that the following turn. Like you can still make the play even if you took a 3 extra damage. It is so much more fine to just keep doing like what you're doing and be like, oh man, like I missed it. I could have done it last turn or whatever. I'm still gonna do it. Then to just sit there and never use lightning bolt. So good to see that.
Yeah, a friend of mine, an old viewer in my stream, Staff once told me the only thing worse than making a mistake is believing that you're stuck with the consequences of that mistake forever.
Exactly.
And a lot of Magic players, because they don't want to look stupid, right? They don't want to acknowledge or admit that they made a mistake. They'll stuff something up, and then when they have the chance to make the original play that they should have and could have made earlier, they won't, because it's like, oh, I don't want to say, I want it to seem like I did it on purpose. Shelve your pride. It doesn't matter. Everyone makes mistakes. Well, I don't, obviously. Obviously, I don't
Yes.
make mistakes. No,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
don't make mistakes either. Like
Normal people.
But
make
normal
mistakes.
people.
Exactly.
Normal people make mistakes, you know. And for them, I imagine, I don't know, not speaking from personal experience,
Yeah.
but for them, certainly, by all means, correct your mistake.
Exactly.
No, you do make a good point, and I think Jay there was. I'm not sure if the table tapping with the lightning bolt was him trying to sort of cover that as a mistake, like him doing a bit of like bluffing to maybe try to sell the idea that he was still thinking about, oh, should I do this? Should I bolt the potent threat that's on this? Oh, yeah, I should. But in any case, I respect the fact that he turned around and went, well, you know, should have done it earlier, didn't, can't turn back the clock, so I'll do it now.
Oh, no. What I wanted to see here was
Yeah.
was Jay waste the furnace and then use his Orcish Bowmasters to finish off the construct and leave Sean with like basically no mana in play.
Play Bowmaster. Sure. I'll deal one of the constructs.
I mean, it's essentially happening here, except for he has a furnace in play as opposed to a 1-cost artifact. So it's very similar.
Why does the construct die?
He
Because it
pinged
blocked.
it and
He
blocked it.
Yeah, he blocked. Sorry, no, I did. I fully followed that because that was in the combat. So, crap. Okay, all right. Goblin Welders and a Lotus Petal as well. So unfortunately, we didn't see the sweet play that Noah wanted there, but at least the construct is off the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, he still cleaned it up. Like, it is very similar when you think about it. Like, yeah, he would have one Great Furnace less, and then also have one cost artifact in play, which could have been like a Lotus Petal or like something, what have you. But I just thought it was a really interesting play to be able to stop Sean from activating the Saga a second time, as well as finishing off the construct while being able to keep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, my bad. Drop the turn.
Goblin Welder gets fed the Hydro Blast.
Sure. Thank you.
And Sean's going to take one from the Bowmasters here.
Yes.
And Jay ships. All right, in hand for him, I think there's another Hydro Blast. Force of Will for sure. And Ponder, is that the last card in there?
I think Murktide is his last card, which I'm a little bit surprised he didn't deploy. But I guess his plan this turn is just to play the Brazen Borrower, have the Hydro Blast up, follow it up with the Murktide, and then maybe draw a blue card so that he has like 2 possible ways to protect it. So I don't hate it, but
Well, with the deployment of this threat, things are starting to look a little bit better for Jay, as he has more action. Red Elemental Blast is going to take care of Brazen Borrower. So Sean is able to pump the brakes a little bit here, but there's that Murktide region, and that's real rough for Sean here. He's just used a key piece of removal to take out a 3/1, now has to face down a billion squillion.
What's all these for? Sure. It's a 5/5.
yeah, I mean, I'm again surprised not to see Jay paying more mana for his Murktide, leaving an extra card in his graveyard. That way, his future Dragon's Rage Channelers be a little bit closer.
I'll force pitch.
But it doesn't matter very much. So.
Swords to Plowshares with the Lotus Petal is going to trade evenly for Force of Will and a counterspell. Another Lotus Petal and another Force of Will. All right, so when the account is settled, that was a 4 for 3, I believe.
Yeah, that was a lot of resources that he just used there for sure.
Yeah, 4 for 3, I think.
Blue. Go.
And when all is said and done now, we have Orcish Bowmasters left on the battlefield, in addition to that Painter's Servant,
No.
and the colour chosen, blue.
Go.
A little surprised to see Sean wanting to get aggressive here. You know, his deck has like an avenue to win the game that isn't Jay's life total, whereas Jay can this is all Jay can really do is want to be attacking. So I would say that Jay has to be at least be a little bit happy about this.
Plateau, And oh, there it is. This is going to be a key pickup here for Sean, who plays his Phyrexian Dragon engine. Attacks for 4 each turn, and if it dies,
Well, I'll make that
unearth it and draw a bunch more cards.
We picked up the Meltdown, so I think we're going to see a Meltdown for 3, clearing off most of Sean's board.
That one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh no, I was going to say I don't know how unhappy Sean will be about that, given that he can unearth the Phyrexian Dragon engine. He cannot. It costs 5. There's
Yeah,
the
it's
small
a
matter
little-
of 3 mana that he needs
One
to.
good one
Well,
deserves
that's a nice
another.
one, though. That's
A little expensive.
Please come to gather at the point.
There's a Saga will help him help Sean get back on the board here.
Oh wow, he's got plenty of cards in hand too. This Fable
Yeah,
looking
looks
really
decent.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason I sort of had him on like 1 card in hand. He actually had 4.
Yeah,
in this
I was thinking
Fable.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it was just the vibes, the game vibes, you know?
Just that
Yeah,
vibe, man.
yeah, he's getting kind of low on cards, but no, he just has a full grip.
And that grip's only going to get better as well.
Both the dudes.
Alright, it's dead. It's fine.
So, Bolt the Shaman.
Yeah.
Yep.
14.
Yep.
Jump down.
A very brief cameo appearance from the Shaman there.
He was real, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there. I saw him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stifle the.
And now the Fable.
Okay, so it makes mana no
We're going to
construct.
stifle.
Okay, but it's still on
the-
2.
Yes.
There's a
Yeah,
Saga
that's correct.
trigger.
Wait,
Okay.
So does that mean it doesn't pick up
No,
the ability to make
black, sorry.
constructs? I believe that's how it goes.
Go.
I don't know.
So I'm pretty sure, I'm not a judge, but I'm pretty sure that the way it works is the second trigger gets put on the Saga.
and it would gain this land does this
Yes.
thing.
Yes, the Saga puts a trigger on the stack that says Urza Saga gains,
Ugh.
2 tap credit construct.
Here,
And then that gets stuff. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe that's what it is. So the Saga at the moment is just an enchantment land that taps for colorless, and next turn will be
I'll waste your
sacrificed and
plateau.
go and get a 0 drop or a 1 drop.
I think you're right, Riley. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, and this is the key. This has been the key to my entire broadcasting career. I'll tell you now, Noah. I'll let you. No one else is listening. All right. If you listen to turn it down. Don't listen. This is just me. It's private conversation for me and Noah. I'm so glad no one else is listening now. Now I can tell you my deepest secrets.
Yeah, I'm ready.
If you just say stuff, man, like just say it in a really like confident tone of voice, as though you know what you're talking about. Most of the time, people
together.
How could you possibly be wrong if you sound right?
if you sound exactly, you get it. You get it. All right, everyone, you can turn your radios back up now. Thank you very much. So Lotus Petal to pick up for
I thought it was that for a second.
Urza's Saga.
You're at 13, by the way. It was
Yeah.
And it looks like I was actually correct in my assessment there because we didn't see any constructs made, although maybe it didn't have the mana to make them, even if that ability was there. And now,
Or is that a 15?
That's
the
15.
reflection of Kikiji.
Your round 2 parents can be found on your companion now. That's city is
So 1, 2, 3.
Once again,
Nope,
Team
only
Trio
4.
Showdown.
Traitors.
Round 2 parents
Ah,
are
it's still
up.
fine.
Please
1,
find
2,
your
3.
seat.
Oh no, it's 5.
1 mana floating from the Urza's Saga. Dawn. Are we going to see the Dragon Engine?
I think so. I don't really know what
Dragon
else
Engine?
he has that costs 5. Unless this is a Chaos Defiler from hand, my guess is that it is a Dragon Engine.
Oh, let's get.
But John's got to grab 3 cards or something, right? No? Like,
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
just
Fury! It's a Hardcast
Fury.
Fury, dude. Yeah, another 5
Wait,
drop. The hidden 5
plus
drop.
the reflections of Kikijiki. I'm getting modern flashbacks right now.
Go.
Yeah, Sean was so upset about Fury being
Yeah.
being banned in mod. He's like, no, I've got to play this card. Got to keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is pretty huge. The Hardcast Fury and Jay's life total now looking perilous.
I mean,
He
Combat?
stands to take a crisp.
Took 6.
Well, hang on.
he could have taken 12 this turn. I'm
Second.
surprised.
Yep.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Wait, 12? What?
Well, he can make a
Takes
reflect.
Okay.
Well, he has to make a. It's 6 and 6, right? Because he has to make a copy of the Fury, and they're both 3 damage. Double strikers.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because the reflection has to tap you.
Can't attack exactly. But he could on his end step do something like that. And I mean, I guess maybe Sean is just waiting because if Jay plays any blockers, then he can kill the blockers and then follow up.
Yeah.
But But
Having a Fury to deploy at instant speed is pretty good for sure. No, but we're actually going to see something different here.
Nope.
Ensnaring Bridge, I think that is a Promorant.
You might be right there. These Kaladesh inventions certainly make things tricky. It is indeed Ensnaring Bridge, yes. Murktide Regent, the play here for Jay. Makes a whole bunch of cards from his graveyard to make sure that dragon's as big as it can be. So, this is I guess a neat little interaction between Ensnaring Bridge and Fury. Fury can attack for 6, even if Sean doesn't have 6 cards in 6 cards in hand.
True.
And it's going to mean here that Jay might
Still
choose to
fair.
be.
Okay.
No, okay, he's just going to
Doesn't
make
need
that huge. I was going to say maybe he's going to choose to be a bit more judicious with how big he makes it, so he can attack through the bridge. But no, it just makes it 8/8 here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
Blocks.
blocking more than it's
Yeah.
attacking here for him, so
Nope.
kind of see that.
Goblin Welder now.
I don't like the line that Sean took in this game whatsoever. I'm going to be completely honest.
Another turn.
The Ensnaring Bridge kind of does nothing at all for his game plan.
Down a copy.
If he had just on his main phase made a second copy of Fury, attacked Jay down to 3 life, then I don't see how he could lose the game. You know, Jay either draws a lightning bolt for the Fury exactly that turn, or he doesn't and is dead.
Near the Fury, so I think that's a Fury copy.
And
So-
Sean here makes a copy of the Murktide Regent. It's only a 3/3. The way that I was taught when I first started playing Magic how copy effects work is that it copies everything inside the sleeve. So if you've got counters on it, those don't get copied. You don't get an 8/8. Anything outside the sleeve doesn't get copied. The stuff inside the sleeve does.
I think the reflections can only make copies of your own creatures. I think I'm not too, but I think he on his end step made a copy of Fury, and then on his main phase he's now making a third one. So
But
essentially,
he pointed at the Murktide Regent with the
Yeah, but I
Kingji.
just messed up.
yeah, I think to deal 4 damage with the Fury.
Oh,
I
certainly.
think.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, because okay,
yeah,
that was where I got
so,
confused. Because yes, it's another target non-legendary creature you control. Certainly, yeah. Those are, because a 3/3 double strike is certainly.
Because I can't attack.
Yes, all right, that makes sense.
Draw for turn.
Deciding to play this game really slowly is Sean. I mean, he's kind of amassing a board that is going to be hard to beat, but I feel like for some reason he's deciding not to win the game, and I can't figure this yet. Maybe just because he wanted to style on us. I mean, hey, that's the most respectable way. Like,
Yeah,
not to win a game. Hey, look at my foil Chaos Defiler. Like, how does it look? Pretty cool.
So, when all is said and done, Sean wins the game. The Chaos Defiler comes back, and luckily, it says, destroy one of those permanents at random. Luckily, got really huge blocker there for
I had
Jay.
him all there. Yeah, I had him all there.
And as a result, was able to take out
I was
game
thinking
number
about
2.
it, and I
Sean
was
gets
like,
there
oh,
after a
I should
fashion.
swing
The
right
flip
before I do
Kiki
anything, but
Jiki
that was the
Fury
mana.
combo
It was weird.
ending up being enough here for our painted server player. And we still haven't seen that combo go off in this match.
I played that a little.
yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly close game this time around. Actually,
Chaos Defiler.
Chaos Defiler. Didn't recognize
a little bit
You wanna
surprised.
see it?
I mean, I guess Jay being on the draw, like the days is much worse. Like I already spoke a little bit about days yesterday. I'm not the sort of person who likes to take very many days out of my deck in almost any matchup. Like against lands, it's bad. Like I'll take all of them out. Against like elves, it's not very good. I'll still probably shave. I notoriously will keep days in my deck even when I feel like it isn't the perfect matchup for it, just because I feel like it plays so well into Delver's game plan. Like the way that you want to play your deck, you want to get your threats down early, have some disruption, whether it be hand disruption, use some wastelands. Just you're constantly putting pressure on your opponent, whether it be with their mana, with their creatures, whatever it is. So I think Daze is the perfect free counterspell that plays super well into that game plan. So I'm glad to see Jay at least bring in the second copy for while he's on the play, and have a little bit more access to a card that plays really well with the way that he wants to play.
Even though he's cutting force for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising for me to see. I think he was also just overvaluing having access to surgical extraction in this matchup. It's not bad. Like being able to shut your opponent off from the combo is good. But as we saw from that game, Sean not even needing the combo for his deck to perform well in this matchup. And I think that is exactly the point of this painter deck. Like, yeah, you have this incidental win condition, but you're just favored against the Delvers.
All right, both players deploying 1-drops here. Looks like Delver of Secrets is back on the menu, boys.
Ooh, into a
As we
Molten
see,
Collapse.
immediately flip. How about that? And Orcish Bowmasters removes the Goblin Welder. So Jay going from strength to strength here. Things looking very, very good for the Delver player. An Insectile Aberration attacking on turn 2. And Orcish Bowmasters clearing up the key threat from Sean. And now it's up to Sean to try to rally and find something to get himself back into this, because this is not the start that he would have been hoping for.
I would say about as bad as it gets for Sean. Like Jay flipping the Delver, killing his creature for essentially no loss of value, and revealing a card that interacts really well with most of his game.
Yeah, knowing that Jay has this the meltdown, right?
Molten Collapse.
A Molten Collapse, sorry, excuse me. Molten Collapse is going to make things even harder for Sean to get back into it here. Could have a quick third game on our hands between these two.
That's certainly what you want to see if you're playing Delver. Just some nice, quick, clean games.
Well, Sean, I don't know what he wants to do here after cracking this fetch. He's deciding between Mountain and Plateau, and ultimately goes for Mountain. Okay. Living in fear of Wasteland. We all know that Noah has views on this matter.
I mean, look, I get it. The painter decks, they need a couple more basics. Like, it makes sense. But if all his lands were just non-basics, would he ever be scared of Wasteland?
I think the message that you're giving our exalted viewers around the world is just not to live in fear, right?
Exactly. Just do it.
Live bold. Just do it. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
came
it'd be
up
a great.
with that off the top of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like it'd be a good sort of like corporate slogan or something.
Nah, just me.
No, it's all Noah. He just did it. All right, there's that Ponder once again. We've seen that a couple of times. The Flex Ponder.
I mean,
Dragon Rage Channeler. There's Wasteland. Send that to a legacy player to scare them. Ooh! Oh, Wasteland! Oh no! I didn't play any basics. And is going to keep at least one of those cards. Put the other two back on top. They might get shuffled away by this polluted Delta though. Alright, back to Sean. There's the plateau for him. I think a good old think about what he wants to do there. That was a reflection. Oh, that was a Fable, I think. But instead, he's going to go for the Dragon Engine.
Draw this.
Alright, back over to Jay. And there's the Wasteland. Brazen Borrower in hand, along with a Bolt, and I think... Oh, that's the Molten Collapse. We've already seen that one. Yep.
ooh, I would love to see him play the Brazen Burrow here. I would so love it, just because the Bolt can go face. He's got so much access to a bunch of different damage sources here. He's going to be using the Wasteland anyways. If Sean is spending his turn, spending 3 mana on a 2/3 again next turn, like that, it just plays right into Jay's game plan. So I would really like to see him just bounce this.
Bouncing a card that is expensive, doesn't really provide any value when it's played. But no, it's just going to be a Lightning Bolt instead. I think I agree with your assessment, though. The Petty Theft would have been pretty sweet. Savale keeps a card on top with the Dragon Rage Channeler.
9.
And with creature, instant, land. Don't think Darcy's woken up, or is there another creature? Is there another card type in there I haven't spotted? Oh, there's a sorcery from the Ponder. Yeah. Okay, so we're good. Creature and instant land sorcery. So a respectable suite of threats heading across the battlefield here for Jay.
Blue.
Painter's Servant, name's Blue.
I mean, yeah, the Borrow here also fine. It's just I feel like if he did it in the other way around, like right now he has just 1 mana up, is able to bolt this Painter Servant, and last turn had just returned. Jay wouldn't have known that it's uncastable, but it would be uncastable. I just think that would have just played out better. And then he opts to not use it at all. Really interesting.
Oh, collapse. Sure.
Okay, Molten Collapse instead. Wants to just destroy it rather than bounce it by the look of the thing. And sends them in again. Another attack for 5. Gone down to 4. Has to find something this turn to stay alive here. This Dragon Rage Channeler is a must-kill threat and finds an Abrade. Still, his life total is going to be halved. Brazen Borrower Stifle in hand here, in addition to an Unholy Heat. So Jay firing on all cylinders. Drawn down to 2. One final draw step for him.
Fetch, I go to 1.
Goes to 1.
I'll step it.
Die for the fetch land! Oh, baby!
Sure.
What does Pyroblasting Disciple even do? He
I
still
like this stuff.
he's
you end up
still
with
only gonna
exactly the
have
same amount of mana.
access to 2 mana. Like, what do you think? He's getting another turn or something?
Yeah.
This is all you get, bud. This is it.
Maybe he needs his white source that badly, hey?
True. Hey, maybe he'll play like, I don't know, some really broken white card here. Oh,
Yeah, Aethersworn Canonist, there you go.
oh,
Perfect.
Attack with my 2 creatures.
I
Get
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if Jay, this is the easiest spot the lethal puzzle you're ever going to find.
Maybe he was
And
at
Jay-
2 life instead, and that was, or maybe he was at
No,
3
he
life.
did say go to 1. He did
This
say
is-
go to 1.
Yeah, I just saw him at the end of the game be like, "Am I dead?" Be like, "I don't know." Like, your bonus got two 1/1 creatures. I think you're dead.
Tell me, buddy.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
tell me. Well, unfortunately, there for fans of the painted decks, they are out. That is it. But Delver continues in the hands of our champion Jay there, who moves on to the final now with his Grixis Delver list. And Noah, we're going to be seeing him play off against one of our other 2 semi-finalists, who, of course, are waiting in the wings, ready to go with their semi-final, TK Strachan and Cass Lynn, 4-color beans versus Cradle Control. We're going to take a break and get that match set up for you, and after that, we'll be back with more Legacy from the Eternal Weekend in North America. So stay with us. Second semi-final coming up in just a few minutes.